Hi, welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm not flying solo today. My buddy Doug Upstone from DocSports.com, like he does every week, twice a week, actually. We changed it up a little bit because Doug, he's been seeing some preseason baseball lately. And he asked me if he could switch his day to Tuesday. I certainly didn't want to take that joy away from him. And he's too valuable to me and too valuable to you folks. Doug, how are you?
I'm doing well, and because the reason for the switch is that I originally had planned to go or to be here on Monday, but the weather forecast it rained today here, and it's actually cool. That's why I'm wearing longer sleeves today.
Oh, boy.
But no, so it was a rare day because had a number of days in the 90s, but today it's not even going to reach 70. So it's just
Wow.
but hey, I got the baseball in yesterday. And by the way, if you're looking for a futures play, one that I would strongly consider, I saw them yesterday. The Milwaukee Brewers at 88.5. The over looks mighty good with that pitching staff, and they made some nice improvements in their lineup to where they have more right-handed batters because they were 28th in scoring last year against lefties. I think they're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, they still got the same closer too, correct?
Right, Hader. They talked about trading Josh Hader, but they did not. And I think, to be honest with you, from what I know and kind of just the general situation, I think this is really like their last year to really make a run to win the National League. I think the payroll's about as high as it can be and everything with that team. And so I think this is their last shot. So, I think they're going all in to try and do it in the ways that they can.
Absolutely. And you're wearing the baby blue today. I got to ask you, is that an indication who you might like in the Final Four? Well, then again, we got Duke. Yeah. They're in blue.
Got it. Yeah.
North Carolina. Go ahead.
No. No, it is not.
I know. I just teasing you.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just like my wife always says, it goes with my eyes. So whatever that
means. Baby blue eyes. Anyway, Doug, some NBA going on right now. People forget that with March Madness, we're winding down now to the college basketball season, down to 3 games. The semifinals on Saturday or the Final Four, whatever way you want to term it. And then the finals next Monday night. But the NBA is in full force here, and Major League Baseball on the horizon. But any thoughts on the NBA in terms of betting topics you'd like to discuss with not only myself, but the viewers?
Yes, well, we're a week from Sunday is the end of the regular season, and so with that in mind, there's just a number of things I think going on, and it's the intrigue to me is pretty fascinating. I mean, you think of what the Boston Celtics have done to get themselves. I mean, they are right there now. I mean, and it's going to be very changeable right to the bitter end. They're right there to take the number 1 seed.
Yeah,
they also though could finish as low as 4th. I mean, because everybody's separated by 1 game, and that streak that they went on and especially when they just were blowing everybody out, that was something to behold. The question I have though now I know, like, going into their game, I think tomorrow night it is. Once again, Tatum and Brown are both questionable, and now Robert Williams is out for several weeks.
Yeah, that's a big loss for them. I mean, Tatum and Brown are temporary, right? One guy might be out for rest. The other guy has a minor injury, but Robert Williams, the knee injury, I think he's very undervalued on that team in terms of public perception anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not necessarily the key to the defense, but he certainly is a very important cog to their defense. So I think that's of note. The Phoenix Suns. I mean, they're the best team in the NBA again, and obviously because I see them more often here, this team has a much different edge than a year ago. Last year, they were still on the rise. Now they have that confidence. And I don't know if you happen to see the Minnesota game where the Timberwolves were talking a lot of trash.
Yeah,
but
they were down. They were up 13 at the half, Minnesota, and they ended up losing by 13.
Yeah. Yes. And so there was a lot of talk there. And this is a team that's not backing down against anybody. So from that standpoint, for futures bets, I mean, you're not going to make a lot of money, but I tell you what, I don't know who's going to beat them right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think they might be better than last year, Doug. I mean, that's a team that went to the NBA Finals last year and lost in 6 games to Milwaukee. And they might be even better this year. I mean, so I agree with you. Any
Yeah,
other
I think they are for sure better this year. And I think it's because of the confidence level.
Yep.
I think that's the big difference.
You
And
know,
the other thing,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. One more thing I was going to throw out there,
Sure.
and this is for everybody just to pay attention to as we wind down here. Quietly, the Detroit Pistons, okay, they've had a lot of injuries, that a lot of different things going on, but you know what? They're competitive. And how competitive are they? Well, in their last 18 games, Ross, 15-3 against the spread, first of all. And then if you dress them up in the role of an underdog, how does 14-1 sound against the spread?
Who's this now, Doug? I'm sorry, I missed the
Detroit. I'm sorry.
Detroit. Oh, yeah, Pistons. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so from that standpoint, I mean, as you wind down the season here, if Detroit's on the schedule and if you're not looking at them in general, and especially, or even more so as an underdog, you're missing an opportunity, in my opinion, at this time.
Yeah, they're 14-1. I actually think they're 7-8 straight up in those games as well. So they've been fighting hard down the stretch. And that to me shows the players' respect for a head coach, because they're not quitting on him. They've been out of playoff contention, maybe not mathematically, but reality for a long time now. Yet, when other teams would throw the towel in down the stretch, they're fighting hard. So anyway, anything else, Doug, in the NBA?
Yeah, no, that's about it. Well, and to your point there too, and like their best player, Jeremy Grant, I think he's missed at least 20 games.
Yeah.
At least, certainly parts of 20 games. So that's another credit to them in terms of the team overall. So like what they're doing, like what they're going. You got anything, Ross? Anything you wanted to let me know?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, Doug, and I'm going to bring it to everybody's attention again, because we're getting down to most teams have anywhere from 7 to 9 games left in the regular season. Keep an eye on teams that are mathematically eliminated, or teams that even if they're not mathematically eliminated, it would take a miracle for them to make it when they face each other. I've followed this for the last couple of years. I don't have the exact figure or stats on it, but look to go over the total in those games, because when they play each other and there's no intensity on the defensive end of the floor. That's what I noticed. Okay. It's a season's basically over for them. Everybody's about getting theirs. They're playing at a faster tempo. Defense is an afterthought, and the overs seem to cash in a heck of a lot more than the unders in those matchups.
Agreed. I mean, you nailed it. I remember you saying that before, and I think the point of it is directly correct. And so so overs look like very good plays just overall on that, Ross. I agree.
All right, Doug, you got a free pick for us in the NBA for Wednesday, March the 30th, the last day of March. Wow.
In fact, no, it's the 31st.
Oh, okay.
That's right. So April Fool on you, as it turns out.
Absolutely.
A day or so early. This one, we're looking at getting down to the nitty gritty of the season here, and with playoff implications. And two of the teams that have playoff implications on Wednesday night are Minnesota and Toronto. That game's going to be played north of the border, and the Raptors are at present -3. Now, the Timberwolves right now, Ross, they're 7th in the West, 2 games behind Denver. And if they would happen to catch Denver, it's not going to be easy, but if they happen to catch Denver, they would then avoid the play-in game. However, it might be more advantageous to stay where they're at, to pass them, because right now, if they they get the Lakers or San Antonio, they're going to beat them, but then they're going to get Memphis. Okay, and so with the way, yes, Golden State could get healthy and everything else. Boy, if Minnesota can win out or come close to winning out and pass up Denver, boy, you'd sure like to get that 6th seed. Okay, especially when the playoffs coming up. Now, Toronto, they're tied with Chicago as we speak right now in the eastern side, and there's really no benefit for them to move up, because all 4 teams, with Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Miami, and Boston, I mean, they're all right together. So, the idea, I think you just want to just keep winning more than anything to keep the momentum that you've established from that standpoint. Now, Minnesota's schedule, they've lost 3 of their last 4, and it's gotten tougher. And this is going to be another tough assignment for them, and why they've dropped these games is the matchup for them just doesn't work out. They have lost 4 out of 5 to Toronto, and they have not covered the spread against them in those contests as well. Has to do primarily with the fact now Toronto's defensive numbers aren't great, and neither are their offensive numbers. It's just purely just a matchup of the 2 teams going against each other. Now the Raptors come into this game, Ross. They've won their last 3. They're 8-2 and 7-3 against the spread in their last 10. So they just seem to have things rolling a little bit here. And with Minnesota in the bottom third in scoring defense, you know what? I like Toronto here, -3. And I'm going to say it again. The Dinosaurs, they're 9-1 this season against teams that make 14 or more 3-pointers. I'm going to give out the -3, Ross, as my free play for this video against Minnesota.
Yeah, Toronto's another team to keep an eye on in the East. That's for sure. So Doug Upstone, he likes Toronto -3 over Minnesota, coming off speaking of the Boston Celtics, Toronto coming off a overtime win over the Celtics on today is Tuesday, Monday evening. Again, folks, we're recording 24 hours in advance. Please keep in mind the lines we give you out on this show are subject to change depending on when you view the video, but we always grade them on the lines we give you out on the show. And as Doug well knows, he got burned on that a couple weeks ago, but sometimes it works for us too. So with all things equal, it's the fairest way to do things. In any event, I'm going to take a look at Charlotte and the Knicks at Madison Square Garden on Wednesday evening. Doug, we're talking about Detroit not quitting. Well, the Knicks haven't quit either. Mathematically, they're still alive. They would have to win out and hope that Charlotte or somebody else loses the rest of their games. Well, if that's to occur, then this is a big game for them. But as you well know, Doug, they're pretty much out of it for all intent and purposes. Even though they've done awfully well, 9-4 in their last 13 games straight up, including a current 4-game win streak. Now, here's the thing about Charlotte, Doug. This will be their 3rd game in 4 days. Now, the Knicks as well. But the difference being the Knicks played at home on Monday, and they're going to be playing at home again tonight, where Charlotte had to travel. Before that, they went from a game at Brooklyn the night before Sunday, and then going at home, losing to Denver on Monday, and now coming back to the metropolitan New York area 2 days later to take on the Knicks at the Garden. The other thing I'm looking at is quite simple. I mean, you look at their schedule. They've played Brooklyn, they played Denver, and now they're going to play the Knicks. Brooklyn and Denver definitely playoff teams. No, not definitely, but Brooklyn should be a playoff team when it's all said and done, okay? And the talent level of Brooklyn speaks to a playoff team. And then on deck after the Knicks game, they got Philadelphia and Miami, and that's it, Philly and Miami. So this is a potential flat spot, in my opinion, for the Charlotte Hornets. They've been playing extremely well as late. And you know what? I love the Knicks in this point spread parameter. They've been very good over the last 2 years, as whenever their point spread is +3 to -3. Matter of fact, going back to the beginning of last year, they've now gone 35-12 against the spread when they're +3 to -3. And that's even better at home. They're 20-6 against the spread in their last 26 at home whenever they're +3 to -3. So very good point spread, and combine that with the tough schedule that Charlotte has and sandwich in between 4 other playoff teams, 2 before the Knicks and 2 after. They're taking on a non-playoff team in New York. I'm going to take the New York Knicks here. I'm going to, as a 2-point underdog at home over Charlotte. And Doug Upstone, he likes the Toronto Raptors -3 over the Minnesota Timberwolves. By the way, folks, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take a second to do so. It costs you absolutely nothing. There's no strings attached. And boy, oh boy, our last 25 videos, 35 and excuse me, 34-17. Let me get that accurate. 67% over the last 25 videos, all for free. Me and Doug, our last video last Thursday, we went 2-0. I cashed in on Sunday with my video on Sunday. I got another one going tonight in the NIT. My Bonnies are playing tonight, by the way.
That's
Doug.
right.
And so anyway, Doug, now that we got all that out of the way, tell the folks where they could find you exactly and how you've been doing of late and what you might have coming up.
Well, a number of things. So as always, I'm at docsports.com and just check it out right there. The name is Doug Upstone, if you haven't picked up on that already. And so check it all out. The NBA continues to sizzle. The last 9 weeks, 37-14.
Wow.
The last 9 weeks. So just continue just to be on fire. And so with that, that's I think that's 72.5%. And in terms of the profit in that period, based on Doc's units, $7,250. So wow. Just smoking hot to finish off the season, and I'm looking to continue that for the rest of the season. And I'm looking at, I already looked at the schedule. Well, we did for tomorrow, but there's a couple of games that I'm looking at, and one of them is likely to be a big play. Is it going to be Toronto? Well, I'm not saying just yet. I might even like Ross's play, as a matter of fact, too. So that's available. I mentioned baseball, been going to baseball, going to be on the road the next 3 days, going to games, checking out a bunch of teams and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that to occur because last year, I was the #1 handicapper at Docs, and I also belonged to a couple other monitors to where I finished second or third. And those monitors are not unlike the one that Russ belongs to at Sports Capping, where you have a roster of 70 or more players or guys, handicappers on that site. So it was a fantastic year last year. I've had 3 of my best seasons in the last 7 years. So I'm going to try to add to that this upcoming year, being up over 94 units last year. And we'll see if we can do it again. Looking forward to next Wednesday, Ross, to get things going in Major League Baseball.
Hey, if you're up 94 units over a course of a season, A, that's pretty damn good. B, I don't care if you're monitored with 10 handicappers or 100. You're going to be at the top or near the top of that list. So, again, we get monitored because we don't like to give you false records or records that there's no way that you can verify them. And a lot of guys out there will tell you they're X and X, and it's 76% over the last 3 years. And they're monitored at BecauseIToldYouSo.com, not us. Anyway, NBA is going pretty good for me too, specifically the totals, but pale in comparison to 37-14, but still pretty damn good anyway. My NBA 5-star totals, they're 10-3 in the last 13, 12-4 in the last 16. Last night, 2-0 in the NBA. That would have been Monday night because we're recording on Tuesday at a 10-star top play on Oklahoma City. Hey, I won an overtime game, Doug, by the way, with Oklahoma City. And I also cashed in with Denver. -3.5. They won by 4. How about things going the good guys' way for once, huh? So anyway, and then also Major League Baseball, Doug just mentioned it. Hey, last year I finished in Major League Baseball since April 21st of last year. My MLB 10-star top plays, which are my top plays, 39-19, 68%. Folks, I don't give out big favorites. It's either totals, small favorites, or underdogs. So your return on investment is going to be awfully good. Keep in mind, folks, there's a lot of guys out there that are hitting 60%, and they're giving you $1.70, $1.80 favorites every day. Okay, you don't need us for that. Yeah, that's going to deplete your bankroll. Yeah, the 60% looks impressive. At the end of the day, it's the bottom line, the net. So be real careful when you're buying from handicappers when it comes to money line wagering, specifically in Major League Baseball and the NHL, which Doug is also very good at. And my Major League Baseball money line 10-star top plays, not the other stat was 39-19 on all 10-star top plays, which is money line, run line, and totals. Just my money line 10-star top plays since the middle of 2020, 50-22 with my last 72. It's all documented by Sports Capping, folks. I can't make this stuff up. Anyway, Doug, NHL, we didn't talk about that. You still doing it? The playoffs are upon us.
Yeah, they're coming up soon. I think, 17 games now. I'll be honest. Hey, I've hit a bit of a rough spot in the
Okay.
NHL. Things just haven't quite gone my way. But you know what? The playoffs. The one thing about that I love about the playoffs is your handicapping changes completely,
Absolutely.
because you're dealing with situations where you're getting teams facing each other every other day. And so you have a lot of give and take. And so you have the old term was the old zigzag theory.
Yeah.
Ross remembers that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so you get a lot of that in the NHL playoffs. And among the things that you can do that work well is that if you like an underdog, you can take them on the first game and make a smaller bet. But then if they lose, the way the NHL seems to work in the playoffs, especially especially the first two rounds, you come back with a larger bet on your second game, and you'll more than make your money up with that underdog, betting essentially twice as much, if that's the case.
Certainly makes a lot of sense to me. And, home ice is a big deal in the playoffs. Yeah. But it's not so much, in my opinion, until it gets down to if it goes 7 games.
Right.
Okay. If you look at the stats on road teams in the playoffs over the last few years, you'll see that, especially what Doug's alluding to, money line prices, their return on investment's not bad. Also, folks, keep an eye on the NBA. Since 2017, road favorites in the NBA, since about the third round in 2017, they're 37-14 against the spread. Something to keep an eye on. Anyway, for Doug Upstone and Ross Benjamin, folks, don't forget, give us a like. If you haven't subscribed to our channel. You can find Doug at DocSports.com. You can find me at my personal website. That's RBWins.com. Until the next time, we'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best and good luck.